Once upon a time, in a savanna where the sun blazed like a forge and the earth cracked under its unrelenting heat, a small herd of goats scratched a living from brittle grass and thorny scrub. Among them was Tavi, a wiry goat with a coat like faded straw and eyes that gleamed with a restless spark. He wasn't the strongest. His horns lacked the curve of the herd's brawny rams, but his mind was a blade, sharp and quick where others dulled. The herd trembled at every shadow, whispering of a lion that had claimed the plains as his own. Tavi didn't quake. He watched. The warning came at dusk, a roar that rolled like thunder across the horizon, deep and hungry. The herd scattered, bleating in terror, hooves kicking up dust that stung like needles. Tavi held his ground a moment longer, peering through the haze. There he was, Kor, a lion of raw power, his mane a wild crown of scars and gold, his amber eyes fixed on Tavi like a hunter marking prey. "Run, little scrap," Kor growled, his voice a rumble that shook the air. "I like a chase before supper." The herd vanished into the twilight, leaving Tavi alone with the beast. Tavi's heart thudded, but his legs moved with purpose. He darted toward a rocky outcrop jutting from the plain, a jagged refuge in the open waste. Kor lunged, a blur of muscle and claws, the ground shuddering beneath him. Tavi slipped into a crevice, a narrow slit too tight for the lion's bulk. Kor slammed into the rock, his snarl a storm of fury, paws raking the stone. "Hide all you want," he spat, pacing beyond the gap. "I'll wait you out, or I'll tear this hill apart." His tail lashed, his breath a hot gust against the dusk. Inside the crevice, Tavi pressed against the cool stone, lungs burning, mind racing. Through the slit, he watched Kor prowl, a tempest of pride and hunger. Then his gaze shifted. Thorny vines spilled over the ravine's edge, their barbs glinting like tiny daggers, and above them, a crumbling ledge sagged, loose rocks trembling in the breeze. "Strength's your game," Tavi murmured, his voice a whisper against the lion's growls. "Mine's different." Kor's eyes bored into the dark, certain of victory. Tavi stared back, a plan flickering to life in his clever head. The night deepened, stars pricking the sky like watchful eyes. Tavi waited until Kor's pacing slowed. Then he bleated, sharp and mocking. "Big paws! Slow wits! Even the wind outruns you!" Kor's head snapped up, pride stung, a roar ripping from his throat. "Come out and say that, pest!" he bellowed. Tavi did. Scrambling from the crevice, he bolted across the savanna, a small shadow against the vastness. Kor charged, his speed a terror, claws slashing the air inches from Tavi's tail. But the goat was nimble, weaving through scrub and stone, leading the lion on a twisting chase. The herd peeked from their hiding spots, whispering, "He's mad to taunt a lion." But Tavi had a destination, a narrow gully where the thorny vines grew thick, a trap woven by the land itself. He leaped over the tangle, hooves light as a breath. Kor barreled after him, too proud to pause, and crashed into the thorns. His paws snagged, barbs biting into his flesh, and he thrashed, roaring in rage. Tavi didn't stop. He scrambled up the shaky ledge above, hooves slipping on loose gravel, and with a desperate kick sent a cascade of rocks tumbling down. They struck Kor's hind leg, not enough to crush, but enough to pin him amid the thorns. The lion's roar turned to a snarl of pain and disbelief. Tavi stood atop the ledge, panting, his small frame silhouetted against the moon. "Chase me now, king," he called, voice steady. Kor glared up, amber eyes blazing, his pride a wound deeper than the thorns. "You'll pay for this," he growled, straining against the rocks. Tavi tilted his head. "Maybe." but you're stuck, and I'm not. Strength roars loud, but cleverness ties the knots. Which one tonight? Kor's thrashing slowed, his silence a grudging admission. Tavi slid down the ledge, cautious but bold. Here's a deal, he said. I'll free you if you leave my herd alone. Swear it. Kor's lip curled, but the thorns bit deeper, and the rocks held firm. Fine, he muttered, voice rough as gravel. Swear it. Tavi nudged a few stones aside, just enough for Kor to wriggle free, then leaped back as the lion shook off the vines. Kor stood, battered and bleeding, casting one last look at Tavi. Not hunger now, but a flicker of something else. Respect, perhaps. He limped into the night, his roar a distant echo. A promise kept. The herd crept back at dawn, eyes wide with awe. You faced a lion? One bleated. And one? Tavi nibbled some grass, shrugging. I didn't win with horns or speed. I won up here. He tapped his head with a hoof. The herd murmured, chastened. They doubted him, but he'd saved them all. Oh, and one more thing, Tavi added, glancing up with a grin. If you liked this tale, please like the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Keeps the stories coming. The goats blinked, confused, but the sun rose higher, and Tavi turned to watch the horizon. Kor didn't return. Some said his pride couldn't bear the memory of a goat's victory. Others swore they heard him muttering in the hills, "A goat outsmarted me." Tavi didn't care. He stood on a rise, small but unbowed, the savanna stretching wide around him. The wind carried his scent, not of fear, but of triumph, a quiet kind, built not on muscle, but on the cleverness that turned a lion's strength into a lesson. The plains settled into peace, and Tavi's herd grazed a little bolder, knowing their smallest had tamed the mightiest with nothing but his wits. Moral: strength may roar, but cleverness endures. Wits can triumph where force fails. Please like the video and subscribe our YouTube channel.